Hi, my name is Mustaqil Tuyghun and I am from East Turkestan. Currently, I am 21 years old. I left home when I was 15 years old. During that time, we were still able to practice our native language. After I moved, they really put a big pressure on it and they just banned our language fully from the school board. And now all the students are getting forced to learn Chinese official language, which is Mandarin. My father left the country because it wasn't safe for him. He was an activist who was really going against the CCP government. He tried to wake people up from getting brainwashed. He spoke at the public areas, schools like coffee shops. Then eventually he got arrested. Then he got sent to jail for 5 years. Right after he got out of jail, he realized that it wasn't safe for him at all to live back home. So he had to leave the country. My dad lived to Canada when I was 4 years old, and he sponsored me after 11 years. It was very difficult for me to come to Canada. They don't give us visa or passport to leave the country, so we had to seek for a chance since CCP is a corrupted government. So eventually we got a chance, then I moved to Canada. When I left home, I was still able to communicate with my grandparents or relatives who was back home until 2016. So after 2016, they cut the phone lines and I lost connection with all of my relatives, and right now I don't know if they're okay or not, or alive or not. And they just disappear. I will think of anything negative because I haven't got any information from them since 2016. It's been 4 years and I miss them. I grew up with them. So because of CCP, I cannot communicate with them, and they're not free as well. This is my uncle, Mirzali Abduali. He has been arrested for joining religious activities in his town. He got sent to jail for 17 years. We don't know which jail is he in now. He just disappeared. So I got this information from anonymous person. This is only I got. So we don't know where he is, how he is getting treated right now. So we completely lost him. Since Chinese government occupied East Turkestan, they have been detaining people and killing people because they have the power, and they took our freedoms, rights. They banned schools, they banned mosques, all religious activities, and they destroy our history books. They detain children who doesn't have father, mother, and I don't know what they do with them. They take it to like one of their provinces and brainwash them and then make them go against us when they grow up. And also right now they open concentration camps. They detain almost between 3 to 4 million Uyghurs, including women, children, and men. And they torture them, beat them up, and for the women, they're making them not preventing them to have a children in future, as well as to the men, so they won't have any more children when they leave the camp. All around the cities, streets and restaurants, there's like many surveillance cameras, so they keep track on you wherever you go. Seems like the whole place is like a jail, you know. Yeah, they took DNA samples and our blood. The reason for them to take DNA and blood tests is that to make it easier for them to do organ harvesting, you know. And when they detain a lot of people, sometimes they detain either man or woman of the family. So when they detain man, the woman won't be able to pay the bills for their home and take care of their children. So eventually they have to sell their stuff to live, and it gets worse and worse, and they become homeless, and like it will destroy their future, you know. And many businessmen who has been detained as well lose their jobs, money, and their family or their relatives get into like very bad situation in life, and they will have a hard time for surviving at back home. Some of the other stuff that made me very angry was that the Urumqi massacre and the Hulja massacre. So Urumqi massacre happened in July 2009. So they were also protesting for freedom. So the protest went very well at the beginning, but at the end the Chinese soldiers shot them and detained them, as many as possible. And at the end of the month, they cut the whole electricity in the province and detained more people. And those people have been disappeared from the country. Nobody knows what happened to them. And the other one was the Hulja massacre. It happened in 1997, February 3. So it was the most young people who was protesting against the Chinese government. They were protesting for freedom again. So the Chinese soldiers detained all the protesters and take them to the freezing lake. After the soldiers take the detainers to the frozen lake, they put all the detainers on top of the frozen lake and shot the frozen ice, and they were all freeze to death. They say only 167 people died, but it was more than that. It was probably 1,000 to 2,000, because the protesters, there's a video on YouTube too. If you see the video, it's actually more than 100 people who was protesting. So they lie about the numbers, and how they got killed was very awful. We will never forget this. Everyone should trust what I have just said and all these stories, and we should stand up together and stop staying silent against CCP. We should help each other to collapse CCP, and people should believe everything that we have said against Chinese government, and they should stop believing Chinese propaganda. Genocide, massacre, killing, sterilize, concentration camps, no freedom of speech, organ harvest, no CCP.